go. Oh, I'm just going to start so we can get this done. So if anybody wants to watch it, they can watch it later. Okay. Right. So this call is to introduce VBET, the Vietnam Basketball Experience Trip, and discuss what it is, what it isn't, and go through the kind of not super details, but just what the whole trip is about, why we're doing it, and what it has been for the last couple of years. And we can talk a little bit about the dates, the possible dates for 2026, and give anybody that is on here now or comes on in a little while to ask questions that they need to ask. So I think ultimately we're going to have to make some kind of a decision by the end of January, because that's when flights start to open up for a couple of the airlines that we would like to fly on. So if anybody is interested, obviously you can ask questions today, or you can get in contact with me and I'll do my best to answer your questions. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen. Let's see here. So I'm hopefully going to do this. And this is going to work. Let's go here like this. And then this will be, yeah. Okay. Are you guys seeing my face as well?
Yeah.
Okay, nice. I can't see that, but okay. All right, guys. So VBET, the Vietnam Basketball Experience Trip. I'm going to try to encapsulate what it is for you guys, and also I want to be very clear about what it's not, because one of the really important things here is that this isn't like my business. It isn't some sort of money spinning holiday. It really is becoming the thing that is going to help be a really big part of what I do as a man. Like it's like it's like quickly becoming the thing that is going to help me to achieve what I think I'm going to do in my life, and what I'm going to contribute to the world. And I need you guys for that. I need people that are on this side for that, because there are two main like parts of this trip. One is what you guys get out of it, the people that come, and then the other part is like the world that you go into and what it is that we're able to do with VBET. So I'll start with what it is for you guys. Vietnam is going to introduce. If you come, even if it's not your first time, because I know Harley and Rory on the call have already been. But even if you have already been to Vietnam and you haven't spent a long time there, it's like a Pandora's box of experiences that you're going to get from going, 6,500 miles from the UK to experience a completely different culture, a completely different country. They speak at least one different language. The food is completely different. The climate is different, and the basketball is really different. And so what this is not is like your standard basketball player trip where there are these companies out there which I have no problem with them at all. I'm not casting any judgment on anybody that's taking players to America or to Spain or to Portugal to do basketball trips. If that's the kind of thing that you want to do, I'm sure that there's a lot of value in doing those things, but that isn't what this is. It isn't strictly for basketball players to go out, have a week or a few weeks away from home, and do a little bit of culture and play basketball every day. We do play basketball a lot. In the last 2 years, we've played almost every day in the different places that we go. But when you go to Vietnam, like I think the biggest thing that hits you straight away is how far away it is, right? So you get on the plane and it's a 13-hour ride, the main one. If we go direct, it's basically 13 hours. We had to make a connection in Germany this year, but the main flight is 12 or 13 hours. And so you get 6 or 7 hours in and you're like, shit, I'm halfway. Like it's so far away that when you land, you're in a different world. And it really is like that. And so the biggest part of this experience is adventure. You know, it's an adventure to a different land, and everything is upside down pretty much. You know, the way people talk, the way they look at life, the things that you're going to see, all the experiences that you're going to have. So this is an amazing trip. And what I think it's so amazing for is 17, 18, 19, 20-year-old guys who are maybe taking a gap year or even just looking to have an adventure in between, you know, leaving a place like Northfleet and going to university. Or in Rory's case, you know, a young coach who's at the beginning really of the coaching journey and looking to network and explore, you know, what basketball is like in different parts of the world. And you couldn't really go to a much different part of the world than Vietnam. And the reason why this is so amazing is because, you know, I lived in Vietnam for, let's say 7 years, 5 years kind of straight. And then the other 2 years were in and out for certain periods of time. So about 7 years I've spent in Vietnam, and I speak the language. My wife is Vietnamese. Our children have Vietnamese passports, you know, so my second home is Vietnam. And the picture that you're looking at right now, a club called Poseidon, if you see the guy standing next to Harley on the right there, that's Coach B. Coach B has played at the professional level in Vietnam. He's been pretty close to the national team. You know, he was an aspiring player and still plays now. But B is an example of the kind of person that I have worked with over the years, starting in about 2008. B played for me on what we called the D team, the development team for the Saigon Heat. And B was about 19 then, and he's now, I mean, what is that, 15, 16 years ago? So he must be in his mid-30s. And he runs this Poseidon Academy. And the Poseidon place that we go to, which is on the beach, is an amazing stop. It's everybody's favorite. And B has built an academy here that we will talk about a little bit. But, you know, he's the kind of person that I connect with when we go to Vietnam, and we spend, you know, 26, 27 days traveling to cities like this where we meet guys that have academies, have under 14s teams, under 16s teams, under 18s teams. Then we go meet the pros. And we do it all, man. It's not just going and training and playing. It's giving back to little kids. It's being in the community. It's meeting professional players and coaches. It's watching pro games. And then around that is all the cultural stuff. So that's all the stuff that you get from your side. Like, you're coming on an adventure. And because I have such a deep experience with Vietnam, you're going to be able to access parts of it that you would have a really hard time accessing unless you live there for a long time, right? So even a tourism company taking you on a trip to Vietnam is going to take you to all of tourist places. Like, we're not doing that. You know, there's no way anybody's going to this place where B lives and spending a week, because it's just not on the map for foreign tourists. And yet these are the kind of places that you really need to go to because you're getting the authentic experience. Now, the second part of this is Vietnam is still a third world country. It's a developing country. And again, as you can see in this picture, this is taken outside at nighttime under floodlights. That court that we're standing on is, I mean, basically it's a car park. It's a cement like floor. It's not treated. It's not painted. It's just a piece of cement with basketball lines on it and baskets that B created himself and built himself. Like, people are are quite poor in Vietnam. There's the GDP is low, people's quality of lives is very low, and this year, Rory and I had what I can only describe as a life-changing experience where we went to the mountains and we spent half a day giving out food to people who really needed it. And so when I say that I'm working on what is going to be the big thing in my life, like this is it, and trying to provide an opportunity for kids who just they don't have shoes to wear. This is the kind of work that I would like to do to truly give back to the game that has given me so much. And so I have an opportunity to, organize trips like this and go to Vietnam and potentially do more and more to help not only the kids in this photo, but some kids who really, really need help with clothing, food, and shelter, and then maybe even some kind of help with, English and sport and movement. So we'll get into that. But this is the two parts of VBET, which are, very close to my heart. Okay, let's see. Can we move forwards here? All right. So let's have a quick intro. I think Harley's on the call. Rory's on the call. We're going to talk to those guys a little bit later. But we've run VBET for 2 years now, 2024 and 2025, both in the summertime of the UK. So this last year, we took Harley, Amavir, Dan, and Henarj, who anybody from Northfleet will know. And then this year, Harrison, still at Northfleet now, Coach Rory from then it was Crusaders and now has moved over to Essex, and a kid called Tommy, who is, I believe, at London Thunder, still playing under 18s, I think. So we've had 2 trips through, and some great guys come with us, and I think they would all agree. They've all told me, that it's life-changing stuff and a trip that they will never ever forget. This guy here is Andreas, who we met whilst we were at camp in Nha Trang. He's an American, lives in Dubai. We're going to talk a little bit more about him and his girlfriend Julia later. But just a guy that we met who we've made a connection with, who we may well do work with again in Vietnam. And, it's one of those things where you make connections with people that are all over the world when you do stuff like this. So nice to talk about him a little bit. So I'm going to go through the ABCs, all right, of VBET, the big pillars, the big things that this is about. So the first one is adventure. This trip is an adventure, right? And it's not always super comfortable. As I said, the flight is very long. It's pretty tiring. Again, Rory will tell you, we arrived in Ho Chi Minh City at 6 a.m. on, I think it was a Monday morning, after flying since like Saturday night UK time. And we went into the city, we had a coffee, we had breakfast, we kind of got a flavor of the city, but then we had to wait for Tommy, who was on a different flight because he joined later. And then we got stuck in traffic on the way to the first place that we were going, which is like my wife's hometown, as like a cultural kind of indoctrination and introduction to real life in Vietnam. But it was just a bit of a difficult moment because we got stuck in terrible traffic, and we'd been flying for so long. It was so tiring. It was so hot. And then, the guys were thrown into a traditional Vietnamese town, there wasn't much going on, and it was all kind of, it was quite overwhelming. But these experiences, they make a man. You're out in the world, in a place that is a long, long way from home, and you're going to do things that you would never have done before. You may never do again, with people that you may or may not spend time with ever again. And these experiences are the ones that you remember, and they are the ones that build character and give you skills that you need. And you never know, man. I mean, in the last couple of years in Vietnam, we've met a lot of people that, so Harley took a job when we were there last year. So we met a guy in a bar coming back from a VBA game, and he got a job from that meeting. And Rory met every single foreign professional coach in the VBA, the professional league this year. And who knows if he's thinking about returning at some point, and who knows if one of those guys might give him an opportunity in the near future. So adventure is the name of the game for VBET. Lots of experiences, lots of cool stuff to do, lots of people to spend your time with, and lots of time for doing just things that you would never ever have done, especially in England. Of course, we're going to play basketball, and we're going to train, and we're going to coach, and we're going to compete. A little bit about this year's trip. Our first stop was in Saigon, where that picture is taken of Harrison with some ASA guys, which is an academy. That's actually the academy that Harley worked at for a little bit, but in Ho Chi Minh City. We trained on a court called Locked In for a few days there, where Tommy and Harrison were training. And then the picture on the right is right at the end of the trip, where both Harrison and Tommy won their divisions in a 3-on-3 tournament that took place in a shopping mall you can see behind there. That was in the old capital, Hue City, which is my favorite place in Vietnam these days. I didn't like the mall that much, but there is some cool stuff to do in Hue, which is not in the mall. So basketball definitely is a huge part of our trip. We do train everywhere we go. Maybe not everywhere. Like we missed Dalat this year. We didn't go to Dalat in the mountains, which I think we should put back on. We probably will, just as a couple of days off from playing basketball. But even though we went to Dalat actually last year, which is in the mountains, it's a beautiful place. We did end up actually playing basketball because we went for a run, and we stumbled across a basketball court that was hosting a session, and then we ended up training with those guys. So actually basketball is probably going to happen everywhere we go. Now that could look like training on the court like Harrison did there on the left. It could look like going to VBA games. It could look like coaching little kids, which I think again is a big part of this, because the kids that we're going to coach, they're not going to be foreigners. They're going to be local Vietnamese kids. And most of them are going to be kids that have never really spent time around foreigners. And so it's such a big deal to be able to give back to kids like this and the guys that run these academies, because if you do come, you will understand when I say the appreciation that people have for us just being there and spending some time with them is enough to make it worth going just for that. So one of the things that you will definitely be involved in is kind of being in the community and coaching, as well as if you are a player and you're joining us, then playing. And that's really important that, I think I'll probably talk a little bit about Tommy at some point, but one of the things that we ran up against this year was that one of our participants, Tommy, was all about playing. It was kind of only about that. And he was more into the kind of experience that I mentioned at the beginning, like guys that are at Northfleet, maybe going to the States is something like this. It's pretty much, if you're not on the court playing, then you're going to do some tourist activity. And those are the only two things that you're going to do. Whereas we were asking our guys, to get involved in coaching kids, to get involved in charity events where we're giving out food, and also to go meet other people. So there is a lot involved in it. And Tommy wasn't really into all that stuff. And that was a shame. The big reason he came was because he is of Vietnamese descent. And I think he wanted to get introduced to the right kind of people and get the right kind of experiences that might land him a contract at some point in the future. Now, I have to say at this point that we opened those doors for him. He met all of the VBA coaches. He got a chance to ask questions to those guys and find out what it was really like. And especially from a guy like Justin Young, who's been a national team player and a captain for a long time. And also university representatives. He also got to train with the Ho Chi Minh City Wings. So, he got all those opportunities. But I must stress that if you're just coming to get better at basketball, this one might not be for you. This is really a unique experience which has basketball in it. But, I'm a basketball coach, right? It's not like I'm saying we're not going to do basketball, but I think you have to understand that life is a bit more than basketball, and this trip is much more than just playing and competing. Having said that, you might win a medal if you play 3-on-3. Charity and giving. So I mentioned this at the beginning. Rory and I came to this tiny little village. We met all these kids, and then we gave out food to these guys who are clearly a community that doesn't have anything really. And on this trip, it really became clear to me that I have an opportunity to do more of this, and I can see some of it happening. I don't know if you guys have been paying attention or not, but there's been terrible floods in Vietnam, in the center of Vietnam, over the last couple of months. Now, it does rain heavily every year there, but there are some other factors going on, which has meant that these floods have been really, really bad. And it's, again, if you come on the trip, I don't need to explain it. You will see it. But these people, a lot of them, they don't really have anything. And so if you don't have a lot to start with and your house is flooded, then, and if that happens, more than once in your life, like, it's really difficult. It's really difficult to exist in the world, and especially difficult to do cool stuff like, make a lot of money and do something like be a professional basketball player or something like that. So for me, I'm trying to figure out, how do I get involved in more opportunities where I can actually help people and bring a smile to people's faces and really give back. So for one of the camps that we attended, Hoop It Forward, gave us an opportunity to be involved in this, and I think we should do more of it. So VBET really gives us a chance to do that in amongst all the other stuff. So connection is another one, right? So again, this is this year's Poseidon group. We had a bunch of girls this year who were absolutely amazing, as well as the boys. We had both years we've had a scrimmage on the Saturday night against Poseidon, which has been great. But obviously this year, having Rory, we had a bit more of some training and coaching going on rather than it being more player focused. So again, it depends on the participants. But Poseidon, as I said, is everybody's favorite spot. I mean, it's an unbelievable part of the world. And these guys are just beautiful people. They're having so much fun. They're enjoying themselves. This girl right here in the middle, who's wearing one of our Northfleet shirts, you can see her knees here. So as I told you, this floor is exactly like a car park. It's not any better. And she fell on her knees in the middle of a practice. It wasn't the first time she'd done it either. She was recovering from a similar fall, and it ripped both of her knees pretty much wide open. And it was just so painful to watch because, if that happened at Northfleet, I mean, nothing happens. Person gets up and carries on. Like, you're not going to get hurt. But when you're playing on concrete in 30-degree heat, like, it's not that easy to not get hurt, and so Poseidon is very dear to my heart because B is somebody who isn't making a lot of money by doing this. It's a true passion project, and he's trying his best to create an environment that's giving opportunities to kids. And these guys practice and play really, really hard. These are the guys that won the tournaments in the 3-on-3, and this is just a wonderful chance for, if you join us, to be in a picture like this and work together with people that you will make connections with and you will remember for the rest of your lives. Then there are the pros. So, I've spoken quite a lot here in the last 20 minutes about connection, about meeting new people, and about giving to charity and things that are close to my heart. Now, if you're a basketball player, you're interested in meeting people that might be able to open a door for you, whether that's to university in the States or for a professional contract somewhere in the world. And so what we were able to do this year, which I will brag about, is we met 5 professional foreign coaches that were currently coaching in the VBA as we were there. The VBA is the Vietnam Basketball Association. That's the league that was running whilst we were in Vietnam. So it runs in the summertime. So it's a really nice dovetail. We can go and we watched all the teams, right? So we saw Saigon Heat play twice, I think maybe 3 times. We saw Nha Trang play a couple of times. We saw the Ho Chi Minh City Wings. And we saw Hanoi. So we went to, we watched professional games in 3 different cities. DG here in this left-hand picture is the head coach of the Saigon Heat and the head coach of the women's national team that is competing right now. Matt Van Pelt over here, who was in Hanoi, is the head coach of the men's national team, head coach of Hanoi Buffaloes. He has coached in Australia. He's American. Went to university in the States, played in Indonesia, played in Thailand, has his own agency as well for players and coaches, a very good friend of mine. And so these are 2 people that are well embedded into Vietnamese basketball, and they understand the landscape, but not only Vietnam, like they know the landscape all around the world. And Matt has a lot of connections with a lot of different people. He has a coaching Facebook group where often jobs are posted for coaches all around the world. So we were able to sit down with these guys and have open forum to ask questions and talk to them and find out about their experiences and what might be able to help our guys. And then not only that, they invited us to practice, they invited us to the games, and we got to see them practice and play. And so in the picture on the left here at Good Up Coffee, which is an amazing name for a coffee shop, Justin Young, who I'm not actually sure if he's playing right now for the national team.
He is, yeah.
Yeah, he is. Okay, yeah. So he's kind of old, and I don't know if he should be playing at the moment, but he's kind of transitioning between playing and coaching. He's American-born, Vietnamese descent. Runs a basketball academy in Saigon at the moment. Assistant coach to Nghia here, who is, I actually think Nghia might be coaching in the SEA Games right now, one of the 3-on-3 teams. He's a local Vietnamese guy who's head coaching the City Wings this year. So Justin and Nghia did that together. My friend Lung, who we also met, who just had a baby and played for me many years ago, he was one of the other assistants there as well. He's not in that picture, but these are guys that Nghia actually was a player for the City team, 15 years ago when I was coaching back in Vietnam all those years ago. And so me and him go way back, and we have a history. So, we're able to talk about the history of the game in the country, how it's evolved, the challenges that he has as a coach and stuff like that. And then Justin, who has a real feel for what it's like in the States. He grew up in the States, and now what it's like here. He also runs a physiotherapy clinic. So, you're talking about somebody who has connected to the game as a player, as a coach, and a physio, not only in Vietnam, but also from the States. It's somebody that, if you want to ask a question about, how can I break out, doing what I'm doing, this is the kind of person that can help you. And this is Todd Purvis, who is the coach of the Nha Trang Dolphins. So we met him whilst at our Hoop It Forward stop there in Nha Trang. Now, Todd is a little bit older. He's coached all over the world. He's earned a lot of money coaching the game in places like the Philippines and Mongolia. But most notably, Todd was working for the Sacramento Kings a good few years ago now, but was on the staff for the Sacramento Kings after a college stop in the States. He's American. And, Todd coached the Indonesia Warriors when I coached the Saigon Heat, again, about 14, 15 years ago. So Todd and I go way back, and we were able to meet him. And I mean, he was amazing. He if he's still there that next year, he'll be a great person to hang out with, just because he's got so many stories and a unique perspective on the game and around the world again. And again, somebody who, you get his contact, you keep in touch with him, and you never know what opportunities might come up for you in the future. So I'm going to stop talking soon, but here's a couple of snaps from the Nyachang game that we watched. You got Q here, my boy Q, who played for me in the Bubble League. Yeah, man, just an example of the kind of seats that we had and the kind of games that we were watching. Professional games. You got 2 Americans per team. Pretty high level games, to be honest. I mean, the Vietnamese basketball has moved forward a long way in the last few years. So it was pretty impressive to see that and watch the level of the players and the coaching and really, get a chance to not only give to charity and be involved with local people, but then coach little kids on the court and then train with under 18s players or professional players and then watch them compete in the games and do that across different cities. I mean, this is why our trip is so unique. So I will ask, if I may, Rory, and then it'll be Harley after that, to take the floor for a couple of minutes, if you don't mind, and just give us a feel for what your experience was like. Don't be shy. You can talk about things that you didn't like as well. Yeah, Rory, go for it, mate. Just tell us how did you find it?
Yeah, it's just the main thing for me is it's as you said at the start, was it's a completely new world over there. Like it's nothing like whatever you expect it to be. It's going to be way different. It's as I said, completely different perspective on the world and basketball as well. But yeah, it's just you get to, especially me as a coach. I got to coach those guys who were what kind of 5 to 10 years old, and then we also did some under 18 stuff, and I got the opportunity to watch a couple of the pro teams practice.
Yeah.
So I kind of got all my basketball kind of fixing from there. And yeah, just the culture. I remember when me and you went on that walk in Hue City, and thought I was going to die because it was about 45 degrees, and yeah, just taking all of that in of people kind of giving you weird looks because they'd never seen a 6'3" fat white ginger guy before. So yeah, it was just a whole different world, and a world that as you mentioned a little bit, I want to get back to kind of sooner rather than later if possible. But yeah, nothing really else for me to say. Just I'd recommend it to anyone that wants to have a unique experience, shall we say.
Amazing. All right, well, if we get any questions at the end, we might come back to you.
No worries.
Harley Roots. So Harley is original VBET gangster, first year participant, and as I mentioned, I mean, you guys, whoever's on this call, I can't see, but whoever is on this or watches this probably knows Harley from Northfleet. And as I said, we were walking back from, can't remember who was playing. It must have been the Wings from Ho Chi Minh City Wings. We were walking back from the game, and we came across Mr. Chum, who is the director of Audi in Vietnam. Audi being the car, not the supermarket, but also the owner of what was the Tan Lam Warriors, which is the rival team in Hanoi, that actually decided not to participate in the VBA that season. I think they were not running. But we got into a conversation with Mr. Chum, who also owned ASA, the training company, and one thing led to another. And as we all returned home to the UK, Harley went to Hanoi and spent the next 6 months coaching basketball there by himself, and is now back in the UK. So Harley, can you talk to us a little bit about your VBET experience, please?
Yeah, man. It was quite a while ago. Yeah, obviously exactly what Rory said. Like it feels like a different planet when you get there. The temperature, the food, the environment, motorbikes everywhere. Like traffic is crazy. Background noise of everybody speaking a different language as well. Um, but I have so much love, and I appreciate Vietnam so much for all the time I've spent. The trip was, what did we do? We did 5 cities, 4 different camps in different places. Just the exposure to all these different places, it's just so wonderful. Like it's really hard to actually describe some of the things. When you experience it, it's just
Yeah.
so different to like yeah, it's hard to articulate some of that stuff.
Yeah, you have to experience it. I think it's it. People ask how it was, and you can try to tell them, but until you're actually in the middle of the motorbikes, you you can't really explain it. You have to experience it. Okay, that I think. Let me see here. Let me see. Maybe I got one more slide. I love this picture. It's such a cool picture from last year. And Nguyen again is one of our guys that played for me, man, 12 years ago, 13 years ago. Runs his own basketball academy. He's the guy that was running the 3-on-3 tournament in the mall. So, next year, I'm sure he will do that again, and we may look for a couple more opportunities to do that. But I'm going to stop now and answer any questions if we have them. There is like a PDF that you can get more information on. It is on the website, but you can obviously ask for me if you want. And yeah, a couple details then would be, so we're looking at June. I would prefer to go a bit earlier than we went last time. Price will be the same, and we will make a decision, I think, mid-January, and that's when we need to start booking flights. But if you've got any questions, anybody who's on this call, if you are not on this call, you're watching a recording, then just get in touch via Instagram. My Instagram is certified.basketball.coach, and we take it from there, man. Anybody want to ask anything in the chat or on the mic?
I got a question.
Do it.
What's going to be different from the first 2 years next year?
Well, I expect the people to be different that are going, although it's possible that we will get some returners. So if we have 4 new people coming, then nothing needs to be different, because the experience for somebody that's going for the first time, nothing needs to change. Like both of the trips that we've had, Harley and Rory again will appreciate this. I cannot put it in a container and say, this is what we're going to do, and this is what we're going to do, and then this is what we're going to do. Like, we plan the cities that we go to, but what actually unfolds is very difficult to plan, because Vietnam changes very, very quickly. And we had a plan this year to go from Hue City to Da Nang, where Da Nang is a very cool place. Harrison wanted to go on this big, like, cool bridge that there is. It's a really very interesting place to go. And there's Hoi An that we went to last year with the night market and all these cool places. But we ended up canceling that ticket because they got through in the 3-on-3 rounds in Hue City. So, the plan can change a little bit as we go. Although I'm getting better at planning it myself. So first of all, it depends who's coming. Let's say people are coming that have been before. I think what will change is we'll be able to go deeper on some of the things that we do together. So, Rory and I, for sure, we spent some nice time together, just talking in a coffee shop or at a restaurant before a session or after a session, and kind of getting into all kinds of life stuff, which I know that, well, I don't want to speak for him, but I think he found it useful for him, and I really enjoyed it. It was just great to have a chance to be in Vietnam and drink a coffee and chop it up with somebody that you like. And there are experiences like that which you can't really predict how they're going to go, where you're going to go, what you're going to do. But I think what we'll probably do is we'll probably slow down a little bit and double down on the places that we really like. So this year, we extended ourselves a little bit and we went up to Hanoi. Then we came down to Hue and we got involved in that 3-on-3 thing. I don't think we'll go back to Hanoi unless we're going to see the Buffaloes and Matt and do that bit. I think we'd probably prefer to spend a bit more time in Ninh Thuong with Poseidon, do a bit more with those guys, do a bit more in Hue City, in actually the old capital, and do a couple more touristy things there, as well as the basketball. Go back to Dalat, and there are so many places that we haven't been, so many. So I haven't planned any of it yet, and it really depends on the interest from whoever is coming as to how we take that.
That's a good answer.
Thank you. It's a good question. All right. Anybody else? Going once, and then I'll turn the recording off. Going twice. Okay. All right. So, yeah, get in touch if you want to talk to me about it. Thank you for your attendance. I'm going to turn the recording off, and then we can stay and chat for a minute if you want. But yeah, to anybody that's watching the recording, get in touch if you want. And I hope to see you at the airport.